Yes. Welcome to come well to another episode, another portal, another doorway entitled Am I as I am, most importantly, as you are. A.A.A.Y.A to you all. Today's video is entitled Do You Love or Do You Cling? I'm going to get right into it. But before I go into today's video topic, I just wanted to inform the watchers and listeners that I am not judging nor belittling anyone of any sort whatsoever. I'm just simply sharing and informing according to my own experiences from pure analyzation and observation of events and situations that have occurred, stories that I have came across as well. So today's video is entitled, Do You Love or Do You Cling? First doorway is, it seems we don't love. Most of us do not love. We cling. We parasite. We entrap. We manipulate. We deceive. We try to convince, push, enforce, control, and punish both ourselves and our significant other. That behavior in itself is a form of narcissism or narcissistic behavior, meaning we're more in love with ourselves and our ideas of the actual person than the actual living person in front of us. Instead of loving another, we cling onto them like a plankton or a barnacle on the side of a boat or the bottom of a boat. We go for the smooth ride and then try changing the direction of the ride, causing turbulence in the ride, thus causing the parts within the ride to begin to malfunction and break down, and then turn around and blame the ride for the breakdown that we ourselves have caused. That's just the beginning of it at the moment. Let me go a little more into it. Our behaviors have become very bacterial and parasitical. We're like feeding off of each other. We're not letting ourselves in tune ourselves and feed ourselves and be our own source and resource. We're using others as resources rather than respecting the source that they are. And therefore, since we don't respect their source, this kind of causes a challenge for us to return back to our source and our center and our balance because we're not respecting another source. So why would we be granted the access to our source, our divine source, if we're not respecting another divine source in front of us? Okay, once again, like I said, this is a reciprocal realm based upon polarity and reciprocity. Okay, if you don't respect that, then you don't receive that respect internally. You're not respecting that respect externally. Therefore, you do not receive that respect and acknowledgement, access and activation internally. Okay. We don't love and learn. We cling and box. Basically meaning we cling to someone's potential and then box them in within our ideology, meaning we never meet them. So we cling and we box. We cling to something. We cling to someone's potential, not to what they are in the moment, but we cling to the potential that they can be according to our idea of them. We're not seeing the ID. We're not witnessing the identification. We're falling in love with our ideas of them. and not witnessing and paying attention and acknowledging the identification in front of us and how it's expressing itself and animating itself to us and paying full attention to what they say, how they move, and how they are naturally. So it seems that we don't love and learn. We cling to someone and we don't love someone and learn from them while learning from ourselves. We cling to them, to their potential, and then we box their supposed intention within our ideology. You never meet them, which means that you're never present. Your idea is something which belongs in a thought form which is of a past nature. If you are present with somebody in their presence and they're in your presence, but you are not present with them and they are present with you, it means that in a way they may have met you, but you may not have never met them. Remember, this whole reality is based on mind dimensions. It's not based on a physical interaction. So wherever your mind is where you truly are. Not where you're standing, not where you guys met, a location, the address. That's not where you meet. You meet through the mind. From the mind, the bodies may meet. It's from a conversation that there may be potential sexual interaction or sexual engagement or intimacy. But it's first a communication and an energy communication before it's a physical connection. So it's an energy connection and a mind connection before it becomes a bodily connection. So wherever your mind is at when you meet the person, if you are not present with them, you're in love with their potential, which means you're in love with what they may become or what they should become according to what you expect them to become. That means you're in the future self, which means you're not now. And if you're in love with an idea of how they should be, then you're in the past. Therefore, you're not right now. So if you meet somebody and you're like, damn, he could be this way. He could be successful. He could do this. He could do that. He's like, damn, she could do this. She could do that. Only if she did that, then I would, I would definitely embrace her more, appreciate her more. Only if she could just be this way and mold this way. If both of y'all are in that mindset, then in reality, both of y'all never met each other. Even if y'all were physically in front of each other, metaphysically and spiritually, you never met each other. That's reality. What is this true love that we always hear about? True love with another, or amongst another, or shared with another, is about pure faith and divine revelation, not belief and hope. The very foundation of faith and revelation is nothing but pure patience and grace. Patience and grace. That's the very foundation of what we know as faith and revelation. You have faith, not in her. You have faith, not in him. You have faith in your spirit and trust in your spirit to guide you towards what's supposed to be revealed to you about this individual. You don't find it necessary to cause any physical acts because you have trust and faith in your heart and your spiritual guidance. That your spirit and your soul will have you bear witness to divine revelation of what should be, what should continue, or what should discontinue. You feel no need to cause a physical act because when you make it physical, you rob it from the spiritual intelligence because you're not having trust and faith. People think trust and faith is to have trust and faith in someone or somebody. No. Trust and faith is very private and very sacred and very secret. Trust and faith is you having trust in your heart and faith in your spirit to guide you on your divine mission towards your divine revelation. Or what you should see, what you should hear, what you shall bear witness to. And we're not talking about bearing witness with these eyes. We're talking about bearing witness with the eye. If you look at another word for heart or synonyms for the word heart, you're going to bump into the word eye, E-Y-E. Because when these eyes close, this one opens. Literally. So this is why it's about trust and faith in your heart and in your spirit. Not in your eyeballs and your brain. In your heart, your spirit, that you will be guided by the soul. That's where trust and faith is supposed to be put into, not into a person or a relationship. But people don't have trust and faith in their heart and spirit and soul because they have not created a relationship with their heart, spirit, and their soul. They have no knowledge of their heart, spirit, and soul. There's no communication between them and their spirit, so everything is all human and physical. It's not based on anything beyond the physical. And this shows in their behavior. It shows in the way they talk. It shows in the way they animate, their attitude. It shows in all that right in front of you. If you have self-awareness, you will see and you will realize. What is the approach of love? It seems as if we approach each other as voids looking for fulfillment, not in wholeness. We expect each other to fill each other's voids and empty pockets of a past loss and regret, and never fully remain present with each other. So I'm looking for you to fill my past regret and my voids. You're looking for me to do the same thing. Fill my empty spaces, my empty pockets, my voids, what I need. I never see you for you, and you never see me for me. Once again, it goes back to the same beginning of the video. We cling on to each other like plankton and barnacles on the side of a boat and the bottom of a boat. We cling like parasites, and we nest and feed off of each other like bacteria. We approach each other as black holes trying to vacuum each other into each other's orbit, not respecting each other's individual orbit as it is presented. We're not respecting each other's orbit as it's being presented. We're treating each other like black holes in vacuum, trying to suck each other into each other's orbit, and we're not respecting the orbit that it is. It's an independent orbital intelligence. I am an independent orbital intelligence. You are an independent orbital intelligence. How do we begin to create our own orbit? It's by both orbits respecting its both orbital intelligences. By this one respecting this orbit respecting this orbit, an orbit begins to infuse as the vesica piscis and then becomes the oval, which becomes the womb that both of you create to give birth to the new you. This is sacred geometry. This is the science. Nobody's get past it. Nobody's beyond it. We're all subject to the same laws of polarity, the same laws that govern this reality. We approach each other with hopefulness and plans to change each other, not realizing nor embracing the very presentation of each other and keeping it there in that present moment. We try to fit each other into each other's ideas of each other rather than who each other really is. We fall in love with our imagination and our ideas of someone rather than the actual live living person in front of us. We fall in love with our imagination and our ideas and our fantasies of someone that we are amongst or may have created plans with to be with. But we never see this person in front of us in the present moment. Our ideas and fantasy and imagination is in front of us at the same time that we're in front of the person. So how the hell can we see the person that's right in front of us? We have all these blocking screens, these screen blockings. But we're looking at the person eye to eye, but we're looking at them like this. through all these screens, these multi screens, how do we ever get to see the person? We begin existing vicariously through the I of the idea rather than through the I in self and selflessness. Because when you don't look through the eye of self and selflessness to become selfless, you automatically will become selfish. This is why people fall for their feelings and their emotions because they have become selfish. They're not looking to release their self from this reality and become selfless. You see, when you're not one side, the other side automatically pulls you, and you're going to automatically reveal yourself and show your cards and show your hand, whether you know it or not. If the other person has awareness and self awareness, they will see that, like I have seen it, and others as well. Probably when I was at a point when I wasn't wise or had a knowledge of myself, maybe other females may have seen that within me in the past. Maybe they were on a certain high and light and level where I was still on my way there. But now that I'm there, I see it clearly, and I've seen it clearly according along my path that I've been on for 17 to 18 years, coming into a knowledge of self and attaining the enlightenment. We treat them as if they were a toy with batteries not included, rather than a toy that comes with their own batteries already within them. We rather impose than impress. You're supposed to be impressing the other person. They're supposed to be impressing you. You put your best foot forward, your best quality forward, your best value forward. That's how it's supposed to be during communication and interaction. You don't put your worst foot forward. You put your best foot forward. You show the best qualities and the best value of what you possess and what you attain, what you are, what you're made of. But we impose, meaning that we rather go through friction and conflict and impose upon each other and impress each other. You are responsible for maintaining the attention and interest of her. She is responsible for maintaining the attention and interest of him. Nobody else is responsible for that but you. But when we don't get that attention or receive the idea that we think of them that they should be or the potential what they should become, we impose our emotions and our erratic behavior and attitude towards them and on them, which is not fair to them. That's not balanced. That's not ma'at. That's not divine balance. And divine balance will balance itself out. Trust me. We shame our uniqueness from each other and fear our uniqueness from each other, or fear our uniqueness of each other. We shame our uniqueness of each other and fear our uniqueness of each other, rather than possibly learning from it and possibly incorporating it into our own life and self development. Everything and everybody is unique onto their self. Everybody has something unique about them. And we fear somebody's uniqueness just like we fear their freedom. That's why people go through people's phones, they go through their laptops, they go through their drawers, they go through their papers, they go through their closets, through their personal property, their cars. We fear freedom and uniqueness of the individual rather than appreciating it, embracing it, and possibly infusing it with the quality that we may want to inherit or that quality that we may want to extract from respectfully to make it a part of something that we may appreciate greater about ourselves. This is why we invade other people's property and other people's private things because we're scared of their freedom. And we're scared of how unique they are compared to us. But this is the catch. You're also unique to them. How you are is unique just as much. But when you are so caught up in the freedom and you fearing the freedom and uniqueness of them, you never acknowledge the freedom and uniqueness of you. Because remember, in order to do all that stuff, go through their phone, their laptop, their all kinds of papers, drawers, closets, in their home, their cars, everything. You're going to the glove department, you're going through everything. At the same time, you're scared of their freedom and their uniqueness, and you're going through their stuff. Guess what's happening? Remember, I told you this is a reciprocal reality. This is the law of polarity. When you're going through their stuff, violating their freedom and their uniqueness, guess what's happening? You're also taking away at that very moment your own freedom and your own uniqueness. Because that whole time you were doing that, you could have been going inside and doing more inner work in your heart. But you took that time out. You think that you're violating their freedom, but in reality, you're violating your own freedom. We envy each other's magnificent capabilities of self control and discipline rather than requesting each other's guidance. We envy each other's magnificent capabilities of self control and discipline rather than requesting each other's guidance. If you see somebody may have control and discipline over something internally within themselves that you don't have, you don't possess, or you would like to attain, humble yourself. Remain open. Be of grace and patience during communication and interaction. Engage as principle rather than something personal. Something to think about. Instead, we bottle and we battle. The funny thing is, bottles are made to be open and consumed, or open and poured, or open and spilled, not closed, shelved, and expired. So we become bottled up and then battle others with our own internal content, meaning we vomit our own sickness on others and throw our trash on someone else's lawn. We bottle and we battle. That's what it seems like. You love, or do you bottle when you battle? You bottle up things inside of you because a bottle is meant to be open, a bottle is meant to be poured. It's not meant to be bottled up and capped on and shelved and go through an expiration date. This is why you begin to expire, especially if your life, if that's juice, real poor juice, natural organic juice, and you keep that bottled on the shelf for a long time, it will reach an expiration date. This is why you begin to expire because you bottle up so many things in your life. Life should not be bottled up. And then you become bottled up and you begin to expire. You go through rot, rigor mortis, decay internally. And you know, once you bottle something up and you shake that body, when you open it, it just explodes. That's what people do. They explode because they expired their self and they became rotten on the inside. It's nature. It's how it goes. Can't supersede it. It is what it is. We fear the reality of indifference, but don't be a coward of change or scared of learning. We become afraid of principles such as transformation, conversion, and metamorphosis. The very things our blood, genetics, and cells go through every moment within our bodies. Keep this in mind. Kima, this right here. when you find somebody new or you meet somebody new or somebody that you are interested in. Treat your new acquaintance and possible relationship as a new trip or a new vacation to a place you've never been before or seen before. Experience it to discover it and explore it. Because you don't go to islands to change the islands, to change the scenery, and to change the destination of an island. You go to islands because it's something new and exciting to experience and explore. That's how you treat someone that you just meet, someone that you may have interest in, someone who caught your attention, someone you may have interest in. Treat them as something new and exciting to discover and explore, not something that you're trying to box in and fit into your ideology. There's something new and something exciting. That's the very reason and purpose of a relationship and for a relationship. Of a relationship, the very purpose of a relationship, and the very purpose for a relationship. Go into it for the anticipation and excitement of change. Look to change yourself. Look to see how they change you. Look to see how you may influence their change. But don't try to willingly change them. Just see what your presence does to them. See what personalities are pulled out of them. See what personalities this individual may pull out of you without vomiting on each other. When you approach each other, you can deal with your own sour, your own stuff internally. That's your business. That's your privacy. But when you are amongst each other, you make sure to keep that shit shut and only show the beauty to each other. Or your best part. Express and display that best part of yourself. That's the very reason and purpose of a relationship. Go into a relationship for the anticipation and excitement of change. Think of this. You don't go on a roller coaster because you know exactly how it's going to feel and look. You go on it because you don't know how it's going to feel and look, but you're ready for it no matter what. Or you prepare for it and just enjoy the ride. The living of life is about the risks and the unknown. That's what life is. It's about risks and the unknown, which is why we enjoy movies. You watch movies and shows because you don't know what's going to happen next. What you don't know what's going to happen next is the thrill and excitement of a movie or a show or any form of entertainment. Treat your new acquaintance as a new movie that you've never seen, but you've seen some exciting trailers about. We can never be ready for anything in life. We only prepare to our best ability and knowledge of it, and prior similar experiences of it. That's all. We rather try and squeeze a round block into a square hole than respect the round nature of the block and see if we both can possibly carve the sharp points of the square corners together to make it more rounded so that that round block can fit perfectly inside of that round hole. Don't try to squeeze something in something that doesn't fit. We treat each other like lifesavers floating in darkness within lost waves of a vast ocean. We expect the other to save us. When this happens, pay attention. Expectations override acceptance. And without acceptance, presence becomes absent. Hear clearly what I just said. If you need to rewind it back a little bit more to what I just said. We treat each other like lifesavers floating in darkness within lost waves of a vast ocean. We expect the other to save us. When this happens, expectations, because we're expecting something, overrides acceptance of what they are and what this is about. And without acceptance, presence becomes absent. These are principles. You think about this when you're upset or angry at someone that you love or care about. You're not really mad or angry or upset at the other. You're more mad with yourself because you're keeping yourself away from your own loving experience. If you really think about it, this is why you can never be mad. You can only go mad. You can't be mad. You go mad. Why? If every gun is made with its own trigger, why would a human be made with this trigger attached elsewhere in someone else's hands? Your trigger or your turn on or turn off switch should be in your possession, not someone else's. It's just common sense. Are you acknowledging and connecting with both their top nature and or their crown, which is their mind and mind communication, and their bottom nature, which is their rooted nature, which is their sexual organ and sexual activity? Because when these location rotations are being acknowledged, respected, and or played with as the freedom intelligence that it primarily is, the being will, if it's not being played with and respected as the freedom intelligence that it primarily is, that being will seek someone else elsewhere eventually because you're not acknowledging and fulfilling their crown and their rooted nature, their crown nature and their rooted nature. Therefore, there's no wholeness. You're not meeting the whole of a person. So you might be engaging with them mentally, but eventually it seeks the root, which becomes a sexual activity. It's sapiosexual, then it's physically sexual. And if you're in a relationship by now and you're not catering to their crown and their roots, if you're catering to their crown for a conversation, the root is going to seek root activity with someone else elsewhere. And if you're just seeking the root with someone and have a root connection, but have no crown and mind connection with someone, they may have sex with you, but they're going to hold deep, more conversations with somebody else elsewhere. It is our each individual responsibility to maintain, like I said, our attention and interest of each other. It's our own responsibility. We are gods, or we are God. I have to maintain your interest and attention. You have to maintain my interest and attention. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's just how it goes here. And people learn a lesson in a nice, not nice way sometimes. So you see, women appreciate more crown play because they like the mind of a man. They're trying to see the mind of a man. A man appreciates more of the root play because that's where he gets to express himself, communicate, and so on and so forth. This is just the nature of man and woman, the gender intelligence. Um, and that's pretty much what today's video is based on. So just make sure that you're acknowledging the crown of an individual, which is the crown chakra, and the root of an individual, which is their root chakra. Make sure there's mental activity, physical activity, sexual activity, all these things going on to meet the wholeness of a person, to have a whole uh, connection with that individual. So, ask you again, are you loving? Or are you clinging? Am I as I am, as you are? I'll see you guys in class in A.A.A.Y.A. Until then, keep studying, keep researching. Most importantly, maintain your experience. 1-0.